Have you ever wondered why some people think they can act without consequences, as though their actions will never catch up with them? Well, Officer Mark Turner had been part of the Greenville, Alabama police force for over a decade, and his brash attitude and tendency to push boundaries made him notorious, particularly when it came to dealing with people of color. On a warm Tuesday morning, he noticed a sleek black BMW parked outside a coffee shop in a neighborhood predominantly occupied by white residents. Behind the wheel sat a calm black woman, sipping her coffee. Mark's eyes narrowed. "What's she doing here?" he muttered under his breath. To him, she didn't seem to belong, at least not in his eyes. Her perfectly tailored navy blue suit and the confident posture she exuded only fueled his prejudice. Without hesitation, Mark approached the car, his hand resting on his holster. "License and registration," he demanded. The woman, Evelyn Brooks, turned her head slowly, offering a puzzled look. "Good morning, officer," she said, her voice calm, yet firm. "May I ask why you're stopping me?" Mark's jaw tightened. "Don't play games with me," he snapped. "Hand over your license and registration now." Evelyn, unflustered, handed him the documents. Mark glanced at them, barely taking the time to read the details. He was more interested in asserting his authority. "Step out of the car," he barked. "Is there a problem?" Evelyn asked, her eyes locking with his. "I said step out of the car," Mark repeated, his tone growing harsher. Reluctantly, Evelyn complied, stepping out of the car. A crowd of onlookers began to gather, sensing the tension in the air. Mark's voice rose as he accused Evelyn of loitering and acting suspiciously. But Evelyn stood her ground, refusing to be intimidated. "Officer, I'm not breaking any laws." "This is harassment," she said, her voice unwavering. Mark's face flushed red as he roughly cuffed her. "You're under arrest for resisting an officer and disorderly conduct," he declared. Evelyn did not resist. Instead, she looked him straight in the eye and said, "You have no idea what you've just done." Her words hung in the air as he shoved her into the back of the patrol car. 2 days later, the case was set for a hearing, and news of the arrest had spread quickly. The courtroom was packed with reporters, activists, and curious locals. Mark Turner strolled in confidently, ready to defend his actions, sure that the judge would side with him, as he often did. Evelyn, however, walked into the courtroom with a quiet but undeniable confidence that caught everyone's attention. Dressed in a sharp gray suit, she carried an air of authority that even made the judge sit up straighter. As the proceedings began, Mark's lawyer painted a picture of Evelyn as a disruptive, suspicious individual who refused to cooperate. Mark sat back, smirking, convinced the narrative would stick. But when it was Evelyn's turn to speak, she rose and addressed the court. "Your Honor, before I defend myself, I would like to introduce myself properly," she began. Reaching into her briefcase, she pulled out a badge. "My name is Evelyn Brooks, and I am the Chief Federal Prosecutor for the Southern District of Alabama." The courtroom fell into stunned silence. Mark's smirk vanished, replaced by an expression of shock and fear. The judge raised an eyebrow, intrigued. Evelyn's voice remained steady, but her words carried weight. "Officer Turner violated my rights, falsely arrested me, and used excessive force. I've spent my career fighting for justice, and I will not tolerate such behavior from those who are sworn to uphold the law." Mark's lawyer stammered, trying to regain control, but it was too late. Evelyn presented irrefutable evidence: video footage from bystanders, her spotless career record, and testimonies from witnesses who had seen the incident unfold. The judge turned his gaze to Mark. "Officer Turner, do you have anything to say for yourself?" Mark fumbled for words, finally mumbling, "I didn't know who she was." "And that excuses your actions," the judge snapped coldly. "Ignorance is no defense." Without wasting time, the judge delivered his verdict. "Officer Turner, your actions were not only unprofessional, but also discriminatory. This court holds you accountable for your abuse of power." Mark's face drained of color as the judge announced his punishment: immediate suspension without pay, mandatory sensitivity training, and a full internal investigation into his conduct. But Evelyn wasn't finished. She stood once more, her voice firm. "Your Honor, I request that a formal review of Officer Turner's past arrests be conducted. If he's treated others the way he treated me, there may be a pattern of abuse." The judge agreed, ordering a full investigation. Mark's career was essentially over. As Evelyn walked out of the courtroom, reporters rushed to surround her, eager for a statement. She paused, offering a calm yet powerful response. Justice isn't just about punishment. It's about accountability. No one is above the law, not even those who enforce it. The crowd erupted in applause, and Evelyn's words became a rallying cry for justice reform. Meanwhile, Mark sat in the courtroom, head in his hands. He believed he could get away with his actions, but in just 10 minutes, his world had come crashing down. Evelyn Brooks had shown him that justice, when wielded by the right hands, is swift and unyielding.